Hi, welcome to KCAN Spell Spikes. During COVID wave 1, someone known to us, suddenly the head of the family passed away. The wife didn't have any clue of what all financial investments that the head of the family has done, where he has kept the papers, how he has kept those instruments organized. The wife didn't have any clue of it. It took such a long time for us to get everything organized. Similarly, when my auditor is asking for details for filing returns, I would have kept my health insurance in the pen drive. I would have kept my term insurance in my laptop. I would have kept my other investments in a folder in my desktop. To get everything organized and to give it to my auditor, it will take some time for me also. So, as group of qualified personal finance professionals, we were wondering how to solve this. And we found a fantastic tool also. And the tool is working perfectly fine. So we thought we'll do an event to educate about this to everyone who is known to us. Yesterday we did the event and even sent the invite to all of you. Many of you participated in the event and some were not able to participate. So people who were not able to participate, they were asking us for the recording. So we thought we'll give the recording also to you. The definitive guide to what my family should know, presented to you by KCAN Spell Spikes. This is being presented to you by Mr. Sadik Neelgund and Mr. Amit Trivedi. This may take some time, I agree, but at the end of it, you will find gold. You will get the takeaway why we are asking you to join this session. You can like, you can comment, and you can share. We'll also reply to all your comments. At the end of this video, you will also find the phone numbers, WhatsApp numbers, wherein you can claim the takeaway. Over to you, Mr. Sadik. Thank you so much.
So to that extent, friends, we thought as a community, we should do this session and this exercise with all the people whom we know, our friends, family, and relatives around to organize and think about and be prepared. In first place, organize our family finances and be prepared in case of any untimely happening to us. Okay, and that's why we called for this session, and we already have 200 of you joining in live for this session. Thank you so much. My name is Sadik Neelgund. I'm the founder director of Network FP, and along with Amit Trivedi, we both will be taking this session for you. And just a quick hygiene check, or maybe not even a hygiene check, but more of a request to each one of you, okay, to attend this session along with your spouse. Okay, so if you're not called in your spouse, just pull in your husband or pull in your wife and make him or her sit along with you for this session. How many of you are attending this session along with your spouse? Because know that, when it comes to money matters, if you want to have a really good financial life, a buy-in from your spouse is very, very important. Okay, can you all just, if I'm sure your husband or wife is somewhere around, just pull them in. Come on, just see what's happening. Let's see, let's attend this together. Okay, and those of you who are attending it with your wife or husband, your spouse, I would really congratulate you for taking that being together in learning around life skills. And great. Before we move forward and invite our first speaker, can you all say who invited you for this session? Who invited you? The name of the qualified personal finance professional who invited you for this session. Can you all just thank our professional who has invited us to this? Okay, we have Ganesh, others, Manish Kolati, Ganesh, Bhuna Sriram, Ganesh, okay, Jai Purohit. Okay, we have a lot of people from Goa, Margot, and Panaji because of Ganesh Kotata from Goa, who has brought in a tune of more than 200 people to this session. Hitesh, Soni, Girish, Ankita. So thank you so much, Ganesh, and all the friends and relatives of Ganesh. Know that you are really blessed because you have some well-wisher like Ganesh with you and others. Okay, Suresh, everybody. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Let's now invite our first speaker, who will be taking the first part of the section, and then I'll be heading to the second part. Mr. Amit Trivedi.
Hi, good morning, Sadik.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
So friends, Amit Trivedi is a well-known speaker, author, and trainer in the field of personal finance for both consumers, investors, as well as financial advisors. Just to give a quick background about Amit, he has 27 years of experience in this field, has done more than 1,400 trainings and workshops, has addressed more than 1.25 lakh professionals and public during his trainings, and has authored 4 books in personal finance, including the books on his bestseller, Riding the Roller Coaster Ride, and also Personal Finance Lessons from the ICO. So, and he also works with NISM, National Institute of Securities Market, in various education and examination fields. So here it is, Mr. Amit Trivedi for all of us. Privileged to have you, sir. And we would like to call him as the master of masters, because he trains a lot of us on how to do financial advising and how to train the rest of the public. So welcome, sir, to this session.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex.
Sir, before we get on to the session, I quickly wanted to ask you about your book around and that episode of your life around which made you write this book, Personal Finance Lessons from ICU. Okay, how many years back was that?
So this happened in 2016.
16.
Yeah. So
if you can just quickly share us what really happened and how what is it that we really can learn from your lessons which you learned?
So I am a type 1 diabetic, which means I'm insulin dependent diabetic. And for long, I thought I had my diabetes under control, but reality was different. And one fine day, I had returned from Delhi, and next day afternoon, I was supposed to leave for Baroda. And morning, I could not get up from the bed. So even sitting in the bed was very difficult. I could not breathe. And we didn't realize that there was a problem. We thought it's just fatigue, both my wife and me. But at one point around 12:30, I said, let's call up the Baroda guys and tell them that, sorry, I can't travel. I'll take some rest. My wife was surprised. You never cancel any, meetings or any programs. What's wrong with you today? So after a while, we called the doctor. Doctor saw me and immediately said, "Chalo hospital." I said, "Now?" So he said, "Kyun murat nikalna hai kya? Get up and let's go there." Now that get up and go there. I live on 6th floor, but I could not stand in the lift for coming down from 6th floor to the ground floor. So we had to organize a chair for me to sit there.
That bad.
It was that bad. And then, of course, when we went to the hospital decided that I have to be taken to the ICU straight. Now, when I reflected upon, of course, lying on the bed gives you a lot of time to, reflect over what has gone and what have you done. When I looked at it, eventually all the fingers were pointing at myself. So it was entirely my responsibility. In the moment I realized that it was my responsibility, it was very liberating that, okay, if I could put myself into a mess, I'm the only one who can pull myself out. Then a parallel thought started that, okay, so this is happening in health. This also happens in case of money management. And that's where I started writing. Even while I was in the hospital, I started jotting down some of the thoughts. And eventually, a couple of years later, the book came out.
Lovely. Great, sir. So, there's a lot of learning from the life. Let's get on to the session, and we'd love to see what we can learn from your learnings. What do you, sir?
Sure. I think somebody has put a comment that the volume seems to be low.
Yeah.
Can you just confirm whether the volume is fine or?
Yeah, if you can speak a little louder, sir, I think we should be good.
Okay. So I'll try to do that. Okay.
This is better. When you're holding it a little closer, it's coming better.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. Okay, perfect. So then we straight away go on to the topic. So I'll start sharing the presentation now.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody put a remark that can we get to the subject? This is the subject actually. That's why Sadiq asked me a question about my hospitalization. The lessons that I've learned. Now let's go back to one of the points which I did not discuss right now. But one of the things Sadiq mentioned about riding the roller coaster, in that book I had written this thing: we do not perceive risks when things go right, and by the time we do, it is too late. And this is precisely what was happening in my case also. Till the day I was not in the hospital, I did not perceive the risk. It could have been too late, because in the night of my first night of my hospitalization, the doctor told my wife that had you come a few hours too late, then I could not have done anything at all. So it was only a matter of few hours that we landed in the hospital, and today we are able to talk. But till then, a day before that, I did not perceive that the situation was so grave. I did not know, writing in a book in 2015 and 2016, I'll have a personal realization of that fact. So let's straight away jump to the lessons that I learned. The book has a few more lessons, but I picked up 7 for this session today. And the first lesson is, contrary to the popular proverb, which says ignorance is bliss. Well, ignorance is not bliss. A lot of times we don't know what the problem is, and we still try to do certain things. And sometimes even when we know the problem, we try to ignore the problem, assuming that this is okay, nothing bad will happen. Let's look at what is happening right now in the current situation in COVID cases also. Sadiq asked this question. I was almost about to type that even I'm facing the situation. So as we speak today, my father is in the ICU post-COVID complications. So I was talking to the doctor the other day, and he said, in almost all cases where things have become complicated. So there are a lot of people who have come out of COVID quite fast without much problems. But wherever there have been complications, the organ which was already weak in the body, there in most cases complications have happened. Why am I mentioning this? Is because this virus is about lungs. It's a flu that the virus is causing. But there are cases of problems with kidney, problems with heart, problems with obesity related issues, sugar level fluctuating. So wherever there is a problem, it's hitting. Now, overall health becomes important. Don't ignore health. And in exactly similar manner, don't ignore the financial health. What is financial health? Know why you are taking certain money related decisions. So if you invested your money somewhere, why have you done it? A few days back, I was talking to somebody, and he said, a friend of mine has launched a new coin, a cryptocurrency. And because it's an IPO, ICO is what they call initial coin offering. So I put some money there. What is your thought? And while I bought at 100, he's already jacked up the price to 300. So my money is multiplied 3 times. I said, okay, go to him and withdraw. He said, no, that's not allowed. I said, in that case, there is no price. So know what you are doing and why you are doing. It's not just about investment. It applies to your insurance policies, and it also applies to the loans that you take. Know why are you doing it. Then get into what is the best mutual fund or which is the cheapest loan. But understand the why first. Then how, what, when, everything will follow. The other important thing is, if something goes wrong, where do you go? If there is a grievance, what is the redress mechanism? And this is equally important. So don't ignore certain things. And let's pray that nothing goes wrong in your life. But just in case, let's be prepared. The second lesson that I learned from the ICU was that I was suffering from a syndrome known as "it cannot happen to me." So I am healthy, I am fit, but there are so many people who are not so healthy. I take care of my diet, I take care of my exercise. There are so many people who are lazy, who are, but it still happened to me, though I had that confidence. Now look at your personal finances. A lot of times I've come across people who get sort of into that sense of security when the value of the portfolio is high or when the income is high. So when the income is high, there are a few cases where people have got into living a lavish lifestyle because the income is supporting. And the day the income drops or fluctuates or stops for whatever reason, adjusting the expenses is not that easy. And I remember, the case of a friend of mine. Of course, there was no tragedy. It's just a joke, a practical joke that happened in his family. When he shifted from one job to the other, he actually, quit a job, and for a while he did not take anything. So that time he had a company provided accommodation, which was a large, big, 3-bedroom flat in Singapore. And then he shifted to a smaller house because for a while he had decided to not join anywhere. So he shifted in a smaller house. The moment he shifted to a smaller house, his young daughter, who was maybe 7 or 8 years old, or she asked, "Papa, hum log garib ho gaye kya? Have we suddenly become poor that we've shifted to a smaller house?" Now, that's a joke, but just look at the psychology behind it. When that income reduces, how difficult it can get to adjust the expenses to that new reality. Once again, the year 2020 and 21, we've seen a lot of people getting impacted as far as their income was concerned. There are a few who are not impacted, but there are quite a few who got impacted, either on account of the deadly disease that some bread earner was taken away from the family, or when somebody lost a job. There have been a few cases where companies have cut the salaries. Whatever be the case, adjusting to reduced expense level is easy. Reduced the income level is easy when the expenses are controlled. And that's your financial health. It applies to many other things. You invested in certain things and the portfolio value looks very healthy, but a lot of times it is the market value and not immediately realized value. And the market value can go down, up, whatever way. Remember, it can happen to us. So buy those protections. This entire pandemic period, and we've heard a lot about creating that contingency fund and buying health insurance and life insurance. But I know a few cases where in between 2017 and 20, a lot of financial advisors had advised their clients to keep some contingency fund, roughly 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, when that contingency fund was kept in a bank fixed deposits or a liquid fund, the return was around 5 to 7% per year, whereas the equity markets were booming. And suddenly it appeared that why is this money lying here? Anyway, I don't have a problem. So some people shifted money out of that contingency fund into equity portfolio. And then this 2020-21 period happened. Incidentally, the stock markets recovered pretty fast in 2020. But just imagine if it doesn't happen. It can happen to us. We are not immune to a lot of things. The third lesson is where the big mistake that I made. I mean, this is again, as I said, all the fingers are pointing to me only. For roughly 7 or 8 years, I did not visit the doctor, assuming that I was controlling my diabetes through proper food, exercise, and medication. And I did not go to the doctor. Once I did not go, and then that delay became longer, and that it continued to become longer and longer, and it turned out to be roughly 8 years. Beyond a point, I had the fear that if I go after a gap, and if the report is not good, the doctor would scold me. But eventually, that scolding happened. It's just that the place was very uncomfortable. The doctor told me while I was lying on the ICU bed that you are such a non-compliant person. You do not listen to the doctors, and that's what has landed you here. Take it to the personal finance matter. Better to go and have a discussion, make a mistake, and get a sort of uncomfortable discussion with a financial advisor right now, than to do it when your finances are almost in the ICU. Consult your financial advisor, meet the person regularly, take opinion. Whether you agree or you don't can be discussed and debated. You may have a different opinion from the financial advisor, but you can't ignore the importance of a good financial advisor. And that was my realization. Taking this same thought forward. So I said, I thought my diabetes was under control because diet, exercise, and medication. I was very, very regular with these three things. What was I missing out? I was not regularly checking my sugar levels, and I was not consulting the doctor. Now, doing those three things is very similar to a friend of mine who asked me, once my financial goals are ready and once I've started an SIP, and if I'm doing it, why do I need to meet the financial advisor? It was exactly the same thought. Something can happen, anything can happen. Your situation may change. Sometimes we get biased. Sometimes we ignore our own situation. Sometimes we are busy in our profession. We don't have enough time to check our financials also. This also is something that sometimes we don't even know what we don't know. And that leads to this one. I don't really want to spend too much time on this point because already highlighted this twice. But just be aware that you really know what you are doing. Otherwise, better to take help. But then there's a lot of help available from well-wishers, friends, family, colleagues, too many people. And they keep telling you. So let's say the moment I say I am diabetic, in any audience, at least 5 people, and when we were doing physical programs before the pandemic started, in any audience, the moment I said I am diabetic, at least 3 or 5 people would approach me and suggest some remedy. You try this, you do that, etc., etc. Now, and similarly, a lot of friends and well-wishers and distant family members also keep telling me on a regular basis, and I respect their intent. They are well-wishers. The only difference is I don't know whether they are technically qualified to give an advice. And let's understand this whole subject of money management that we call, or financial planning that we know of. There is another beautiful term for this business called personal finance, management of personal finances. And in personal finance, personal always comes before finances. It is all about my own money or my family's money, and that's likely to be different from somebody else's money management. A solution that may be applicable in one case may be very different in another case. And that's where the solutions have to be custom created using various building blocks which are available. These building blocks could be fixed deposits, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, equity funds, debt funds, whatever you take. These are building blocks on the investment side. There are term insurance plans, health insurance plans, there are loans. All these building blocks have to be put together to come up with a customized solution, customized plan. That requires two things. Now, why do we go to a friend and not to an expert? And Stephen Covey explains it beautifully. He says, because this relates to some deliverable in the future and not immediately, we need to trust the person who's advising us. And this trust is always built up of two things. I have to trust the person's ability or competence, and I have to trust the person's integrity or character. काबिलियत भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए और नीयत भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए. Both are required. When it comes to expertise or kabiliyat, because I don't know the subject much, how do I evaluate the expertise of an expert who's supposed to be better than me in that field? That's a big question. So what else can we evaluate? The intent. और intent किसका अच्छा होता है? दोस्तों का अच्छा होता है, रिश्तेदारों का अच्छा होता है, office colleagues का अच्छा होता है. Their intent, we know them, we trust them that way. But we need both ability and integrity. One of the two is not enough. And the final lesson is, yes, what Sadiq is going to do right after my presentation is actually helping you dig the well right much before there is even a possibility of a fire. Right now, of course, the possibility of fire looks very, very huge, very, very close, because there is a lot of times a feeling we don't really want to discuss some of the points very, very openly, and especially possibility of tragedy, possibility of losses, possibility of a downfall is something which makes us extremely uncomfortable. We want to discuss with, we always make plans about, celebration, a party, a vacation, the things which are likely to give us pleasure. But can we ever discuss that, okay, what will happen if I die? Can I go and talk to my wife in that, or my kids? How would your life be when I die? That's a very uncomfortable and very tough discussion. But that well has to be dug much before the house has caught fire. Incidentally, let me also tell you something. Just because you start digging the well doesn't mean that there's going to be a fire very soon. We don't want that fire to happen, but still it is better to be prepared. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sadiq.
Thank you so much, Amit. That was a lovely, crisp presentation with 7 key lessons. Friends, how did we all like this session? And what was the #1 lesson for you? This was like, wow, oh my God, I need to do that. What was that? Dig the well before the house catches fire. Okay. What was it for you out of 7? Start now, Ashok says. Others, ignorance is not a bliss. Need to take charge. Okay. Others, the 7th one, dig the well before the house catches fire. Okay. Okay, others, how did you all like this session? Was it useful? Very interesting insights, awareness, mindful of your health. Okay, health and wealth, the 2 most important aspects of anyone's life. Just take charge of it. All right, consult an expert, start now. Very, very helpful. Have uncomfortable discussions with, yes, that's intent is not enough. Competence is equally important. Lovely. So, sir, thank you very much for this session. And friends, know that Mr. Amit Trivedi will be here after half an hour for a Q&A session. So in the next half an hour, we will do the how to organize your family finances along with a template which you can get. So we'll do that for the next half an hour. This is going to be, okay, action is very important. Okay, learning is one thing, but action is important. And the next half an hour will be all about taking action, okay, from what we have learned. And Mr. Amit Trivedi will be back at 12 o'clock for a quick Q&A session with all of us. Okay, so can we all thank Amit and look forward to see him again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. A lot of good, learnings from and praises around the session which we conducted. Thank you. So, friends, in the first place, how many of you would like to have a quick gift from all of us? Okay. Would you like to learn how to take charge of your personal finances? Would you like to learn how to take charge of your personal finances over the next 1 month in just 2 minutes per day? Okay, so we are proud, as a community of qualified personal finance professionals, we are giving this gift to the public called as 31 actions for your family's complete financial well-being. Okay, these will be 31 small actions which you'll get in your email inbox, and you can just read them in 2 minutes. So that's a commitment of just 1 hour. Okay, 60 minutes, around 1 hour over the next 1 month. How many of you would like to have this course? How many of you would like to go through this course and take charge of your family finances? Okay, so if yes, you can join here. It's NFPLI/action 31 actions. Go to this right now. Okay, go to this right now. Subscribe. It's going to take not more than 30 seconds. So I'm going to give you all around 30 seconds to 45 seconds to enroll for this course now. Can we have the this shared, please? The link shared. Okay, so the link has been shared on the chat box by my colleague Dipin. Can you all go there and click on that link? Let me click that link. Let's see where it goes. Okay, Dipin, can you please check the link? Is the link working? Okay, here is the link. Okay, please go to the link and subscribe to this course. So you'll get from the qualified personal finance professionals, you'll get a course of 31 actions, which will be coming to you straight in your inbox on complete financial well-being. Okay, just take 30 seconds and complete this. All you need is 2 minutes, and our this will come over the next 31 days. So how to automate your money, how to become debt-free, how to make sure that your money is actually working hard for you, and also these will all be some simple actions for taking charge of your own financial future. Can you all please say done once completed once you're registered for this course on the chat? Yeah. Okay, good. So it's going to come to you every single day at 10 a.m. in the morning. 2 minutes, 10 a.m. to 10:02 is what you need to be spending, or at your own convenience. Okay, so that's our gift from the qualified personal finance professionals to the entire public. Feel free to share it with your friends, family, who might benefit from this this particular course. Okay, so with that, let's move on to Dan. Okay, many of you already subscribed. Fantastic, very good. All right. Okay, so those of you who would like to do it, please do it here and say done. All right, so let's move on to the next part of this session, or the next 20 minutes. So how to organize family financial information and documents, a public awareness campaign by all of us here. Before we jump onto this session, I want to ask you all, how many of us have our financial life really organized already, or it's not organized? Okay, do you know exactly how many insurance policies you have? Do you know exactly how many investments you have, how many funds you have? Where is your passwords kept? Where is your how is your cash flow system, and things like that? Okay, partly yes. And the first point of acknowledging is just saying yes or no. Okay, if it's yes, very much good. If it's not, we need to acknowledge that, and we learn a better and a more refined way of managing our family's financial information and documents. Okay, friends, as QPFP, qualified personal finance professionals, our vision and mission is to help every Indian family achieve financial well-being. It's not just about getting the best investment and the best returns and buying the cheapest policy. It's about, is my money working really for me? Are my financial dreams and goals are being do I have a sense of a sense and a confidence to achieve my financial goals and dreams? Do you think Do I think my retirement will be taken care of, and stuff like that. That's what is financial well-being, which is much more than just the best returns and the cheapest policies. Okay, and that's the community mission at Network FP and QBFP. So why really organize? Okay, all the last 3 months we have been thinking about emergencies and family challenges. But the first and the foremost thing why we should be organizing our family finances is to bring clarity, and to bring clarity and peace of mind. We should never be thinking what do I have, how much do I have, and where is what. We should not be searching for things when they are required. So that is clarity and peace of mind. So that's the number one objective of organizing family finances. Second is being prepared for emergencies. There can be a job, there can be medical emergencies in your family with you. Either it can be just hospitalization, or it can be, let's accept it, it can also be death. Okay, so in case something happens, okay, will we be able to sail through those emergencies by organizing stuff? And third is to help our family have a smooth sail in our absence. Okay, what really will my wife really get access to all the investments which I have done in case I'm not around? Okay, or she has to run pillar to post just to get what is her own money. Okay, so to make sure that we give a smooth sail to our family in case of our absence, we do this. Now I'll be sharing with you one small letter. Okay, allow me to share with you a small letter. I'm sharing it on the chat box with you all, and I would request you all to go through this letter. Okay, I request you all to go through this letter. It's called as Priya's letter to all the families. Okay, and this is a real life case study. Okay, this is a real life case study. Okay, now the letter has been shared on the chat. Please click on the chat and download it. Okay, how does the letter look like? Let me share with you. Okay, this lady Priya is a lady from Bangalore. It's a real life case study. Okay, and she lost her husband some 7 years back, and she wrote a nice letter to all her friends and family. Okay, what did I learn after my husband Mithun went away in an accident? Okay, and she's a chartered accountant. You should read this letter, and she really takes us through the pain any woman goes through when her husband dies. Okay, being a chartered accountant, she faced a lot of problems and challenges in just getting the money which was truly their own, their money, their family's money. Okay, so I would request you all to read this. We'll not spend time on reading this now, but it's a very beautifully drafted, with really heartfelt emotions to the common public by Priya. It's a gift. I would say that it's a gift by Priya to the entire, to the entire women, women out there who are so dependent on their husbands managing all the family finances. Okay, so please read this letter. It will really help you to see things from a more real perspective. Did you all get this letter on the chat? Okay. Somebody has shared a link also. Yes, that's the one, Krishna Kumar. That's the one. Okay, please, did you all get this letter? And I request you all to go through this letter. Make your spouse read this letter, not just you. Okay, somebody has shared the link. You can refer to that link also in case you are not getting the PDF. Okay, so that was about this letter. Now what we'll do is how to organize. This is also a very key question. We came to know that we need to organize, but how do we organize? So you have three options. One is do it yourself. We would say do it yourself if you have the time, if you are interested, because money management is a very, very boring thing. Okay, and we are all busy people doing your life stuff and work stuff. So if you have time, and if you are really interested, and if you are inclined, if you are really inclined to do these things, you do it yourself. If not, okay, if we call it as, we are either lazy, busy, or crazy. If you're not lazy, busy, or crazy, if you're either lazy, busy, or crazy, work with a professional. Okay, so if you don't have time, if you don't have the expertise, if you don't have the inclination, it's good to do with a professional. Or there's a third option, which is you and your professional do it together. okay, where you take up some work and you pass on some work to the professional. We would highly recommend that you do it along with a professional. That is the third one. You take up some of the tasks and go to a professional for the things which you're not able to do things on your own. Okay, that's what we would be recommending. So how many of us really think you're either lazy, busy, or crazy when it comes to money management? Any one of them, either if you are lazy, busy, and it's always important to acknowledge who we are and what is our tendency and behavior. Okay, let's see how many of us are lazy, busy, and crazy. I must say I'm lazy and I'm busy, okay, when it comes to money management, and I really do it. Even though I teach financial advisory, I really do it with a professional. And my wife Preeti, she really takes charge of the entire family's money matters. Okay, so lazy, busy, crazy, most of us are either lazy or busy. Okay, crazy happens when you are doing things in the markets. Okay, so what are the top 10 financial information which you need to put together? So these are some of the things which you need to put together. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to. All your investments, okay, your investments in mutual funds, stocks, post office schemes, it can be fixed deposit, corporate deposits, P2P. It can be some, if you have done some lendings to some people on as a hand loan, you can put that as investments. Second is all the life insurance policies, all the term insurance policy, ULIPs, money backs, endowment, all that stuff. Okay, along with that, you want to put together the health insurance policy, the Mediclaim, the health insurance. You and your family should know exactly where these are, what you have in place and where these exist and where are these documents. Okay, then we have the loans, home loan, car loan, personal loan, credit cards, all these things at one place. Bank details, multiple banks, you must be having accounts in multiple banks. You, your wife, your kids, your parents, whatever is related to family. Gold ownership, if you have physical gold, jewelry and all that stuff. And also if you own some gold in paper format, you can put that together. Property ownership, if you have multiple properties, the residential, all that stuff. Employment benefits, this is something which many people really don't put together. You have PF, your EPF, the provident fund, your super, your gratuity, your group insurance. What are these benefits? Well, your family should know what are these benefits in case you're not around. Your logins and passwords, and then the location of all the physical and digital documents. Okay, now tell me, okay, does this make sense? Does this make sense putting these things together at one place in one document? Will it help your family? Not just your family, but will it help you and your family both? Okay, so we'll now get into how to do this using a template. Okay, we'll do this along with a template. So let me share with you the My Family FIDOC. This is a proprietary template, a format which has been developed by Network FP and Qualified Person Finance Professionals. And we would be taking you through that template, and you can get this template at the end of this session. Okay, we'll be taking you through this template now, which will help you to organize your family, and you will be able to get this template at the end of this session. You can either get Excel or PDF. You take the PDF if you want to do it handwritten. You take the Excel if you want to do it on a laptop. Are we clear? Okay, are we clear on that? Now here is a pro bono help. As a community of professionals, what we intend to do is we want to actually help maximum number of people organize their family finances. Okay, and this will be a pro bono help from all the qualified personal finance professionals to help the families who are eager and keen to organize their family finances for the sake of their spouse, their children, their parents. Okay, and no obligation attached. Okay, it's not some kind of a some kind of a sales or a lead generation and all that stuff. It's just that we want maximum number of people to organize their family finances and have a peace of mind and be prepared for emergencies. How do you all like that? Do you think you would benefit from this? Yeah, very nice. Okay, how many of you would like to take benefit of this? Certainly, yes. Okay, definitely. Okay, so thanks to again QPFPs who are giving their time for making this happen for the community and the public. Okay, so let's dive into this now. Let's dive into the template. Okay, let's dive into the template. So we have this template called as My Family FIDOC. FIDOC stands for Financial Information and Documents Organizer Kit. That's the full form of FIDOC. Now, I'll just quickly, in next maybe 10 minutes, I'll share with you how this entire template needs to be filled in. And to a large extent, you can do it yourself, but where you are facing some some kind of where you feel that I need help of a professional, feel free to pick up and call your professional and ask help. Okay, so we'll start with naming the family. Okay, for example, my family name is Nilgund. I'll say Nilgund family. Look, you need to put in your name. Okay, when you put in your name, you own it. Okay, and make sure that this is not your document, this is your family's document. So you'll put the name of your family, all members. Okay? What does members mean? Family members mean you, your spouse, your children, and your parents if they are dependent on you. If they are not dependent on you, you might want to skip that. But if they are dependent on you, you might want to include your parents' name and any other dependents. Suppose you have, your sister, your brothers, or anybody else in your family is dependent on you. You'll put those names here. Okay, so you'll put the name Sadiq, or let's start always with. It's always good to take your, wife name first. Put the relationship as wife and say date of birth. 28/05 and 1982. Okay, similarly, you will put Sadiq, so and so forth. Okay, husband, wife, then you'll put your son, daughter, mother, father. And if you want, you can always increase the number of rows here. Okay, always make sure that put all your family members' name here first. Second is important contacts for your family. Okay, in case you are in a hospital and you're not able to really be able to communicate, do anything, your family members should be able to communicate with this. Either you're in hospital or you're on your or on your deathbed. Okay, whatever the case may be, but the family needs to be able to contact the people whom needs to be contacted in case of emergencies in after us. Okay, the family doctor is important. Your financial advisor is very important. The lawyer, if you have one, the tax consultant, the bank relationship manager, and the office HR. If you're working somewhere, make sure that your office HR or senior person from your office, their name is put here. Okay, and you can always add, suppose you have, let's say, 2 bank managers, you can always add another row here. It's as simple as that. Okay, it's completely flexible. It's not locked anything. You can do things as you wish. Okay, so name of the contact, mobile, and email. Don't complicate things with too much details. Just put what is required for the family. Then the passwords. Now, the key thing about passwords is you will not put the passwords actually in a document. Okay, always we would recommend that you keep the passwords in a protected Excel sheet, different Excel sheet, or you can always use an online password manager. Like, for example, I use LastPass. Some of you must be using some other online password managers. All your family needs to know is, the email password is important, especially your wife should be knowing, according to my understanding. The mobile phone unlock passwords, your spouse should be knowing, and the online password manager for all other things which you have, like your social media logins, your bank logins, all these things should be kept in a online password manager, and then given that password, you can give it to your spouse. Okay, so how many of us have actually managed to put all our passwords together at one place? Okay, either in an online password manager or in Excel sheet. Make sure that it's protected, but don't put all the passwords here. Okay, do you think it will be helpful for your family if you are able to give the passwords in a smooth way to your family when you are not around? Okay, good. Now, next is the bank account details. Okay, again, we have multiple bank accounts over a period of time. Generally, we tend to have 2-3 bank accounts. For me, my wife's again 2-3 bank accounts. Then we open the bank account for kids or parents. So you want to put those details also here: the account number, branch, the bank name, and the nominees. Nominee is also very important. Okay, who is a nominee? And you want to, if you want to put the RM detail, you can put the RM detail also. That is the relationship manager detail if you want. But you already put it up here, so you can avoid. But just in case you want to add that, you can add that here. Debit and credit card details. Okay, once again, we have multiple credit cards, debit cards. We want to put those stuffs here, validity, and very important thing, which I also learned recently, many of the credit cards come with some kind of a embedded insurance, okay, personal accident policy. So if that might be just 1 or 2 lakh, but why should your family not get it in case you are not there? So just mention if you think that there's an added insurance to any of the credit and debit cards also, okay? So that's debit and credit cards. Then we go to the locker details. Now locker can be of 2 types. One is the bank lockers, or some of us like to have a locker within our home, okay? There's a small locker which we have kept at our home to deposit the gold or some cash and stuff like that. If those lockers are here, you can keep that here, okay? Life insurance policies, okay? This is one of the biggest things which we have seen people making mistakes. People go about buying a lot of policies from different agents over a period of 10, 15 years, and they have piled up a lot of policies in 10, 15 years of their working life, okay? We have seen people with like 10 policies, 15 policies, 20 policies, and things like that. Make sure that you are listing down all these policies at one place. It's best to tell your financial advisor to make this chart and give it to you, okay? Because it's very intimidating and time consuming job to put all your life insurance details at one place. So maybe you want to take a help of your financial advisor. Tell him to give things in this format, and you import that stuff here, okay? Health insurance policies, again, all the general health insurance policies include your medical policy, your critical illness policy, personal accident policy, your home insurance if you have, and also vehicle insurance if you have, okay? And then other insurance policies as mentioned. Then the main investment account details, okay? We have made a lot of investments in the past. Now here is a very we already created a drop down of all the kinds of investments which a person can own, okay? It can be mutual funds, equity shares, fixed deposit, national pension scheme, post office schemes, public provident fund, employee provident fund, RBI bonds, senior citizen scheme. It can be Sukanya Samruddhi scheme, PMS, P2P, hand loans given, sovereign gold bond, SGBs, and others, okay? So if you have any one of these or many of these, put them all together, okay? Put them all together and make a list of everything at one place, okay? Other investment account details, if you have any other investment accounts, you can also do that. What I would typically say is that your main investments generally would include FDs and mutual funds, and maybe to some extent, stocks if you are owning one. If you have some small things, put them here, okay? In the next column instead of combining with your main investment, so that your family comes to know where's the major chunk and where's the minor chunk, okay? And then loans and liabilities. Loans will include your car loan, your vehicle loan, your home loan, your education loan and business loan if you have. Physical and gold, if you have, you put it here. And then property details, okay? And everywhere know that we are including the nominees, okay? So, and the last thing here is important financial documents, okay? Right from PAN card, Aadhaar card, will, and what we typically want to be doing is once you need to have 2 files around managing your financial documents around all these things: insurance policies, property papers, loan documents, checkbooks, income tax returns, investment returns, power of attorney, and all that stuff. So what are the 2 things? One is the physical, whatever you are maintaining physical, okay? Make a file of it. For example, we renew our medical policies year on year, right? So whenever there's a medical policy renewed, and it comes every year, and we have a tendency of just keeping the policy in where all the other couriers are dumped, okay? So we want to make sure that all these policies, all these investments are kept at one place in one file, or with some kind of a indexing. And the second is also maintaining a digital format, which is much more better, because so that you can share it with your financial advisor. Financial advisor can upload things there. So you can use a Google Drive or some kind of an e-locker. And there are some apps like My Wealth Protector nowadays, which will help you to do that. So you need to have a physical way of maintaining all the documents and also a digital way of maintaining all the documents, okay? So that's what will be, and then you put all those numbers here and stuff like that and put it here. How many of you think this is a useful template? If you think this is a useful template, can you please mention super useful on the chat box? You think this will be useful for you and your clients? Okay, no, not your clients, sorry, you and your family. Okay, very much, very much. I know that this can be taken as a nice PDF. This can be taken as a nice PDF document. Allow me to share. Let's see if okay. The PDF comes like this. Okay, you can take the PDF printout of this, and you can either fill it on Excel and take a PDF, or you can take a printout of blank PDF and write it down physically. Okay. So this is how it will come. It's a nicely formatted stuff, and it's not very. We have seen a lot of organizers in the marketplace which are running into 35 pages, 30 pages, and it becomes very overwhelming to put all this together. So we have kept things to the minimum, but at the same time making sure that everything that's important to you is covered. Okay, so that's what. How many of you would like to make a commitment that you are going to prepare this My Family FIDOC for your family? Committed for family. Okay, just mention the chat box, committed for family, making a commitment for family. Excel is useful. I commit, committed for family, committed. Okay, good. Lovely, very good. So I love taking commitments and I love giving commitments. So you'll see these things happening. Okay, so that's My Family FIDOC, friends. And those of you who would like to get this, and I would say that each and every one of us, there are almost to the tune of 400 of us attending this live today now. All of us should make this, okay? And get started. Don't think that I need to be perfect when it starts. Just make sure that even if you're feeling like 30% of it, you are better than where you are today. Even if you're feeling like 50% of it, you are much better than where you are today. That's our promise to you, okay? So what are the next steps which you need to be taking if you want to go ahead with this? Contact your QPFP professional. The person who has invited you to this session is the person you can contact and tell him or her to give you the Excel and PDF of Family FIDOC. Okay, they have this, and why we are telling you to contact them, because then you become committed to them and they become committed to you. Okay, and they'll there's a way of making otherwise what we have seen is that we have shared this Excel templates in the past with many people. People get excited when they are attending this kind of sessions, but they lose out and the steam is gone, in next 3-4 days when life catches up. So we want to make sure that there's commitment. There's absolute commitment by you for the sake of yourself and your own family. Okay, fill the template as much as possible in next 3 days. By Monday, you should try and fill, okay, whatever, even if it is 10%, fill it. Okay, get started. Starting is very important. And then whatever is not possible, reach out to the QPFP professional or your financial advisor. And for example, you might not really be able to fill the insurance details, the investment details, or even the loan details. Just go and request him or her. Okay, can you please just help me prepare this and give it, tell me what you want. And as a community, we are here to help you. Okay, that's the commitment, and that's a pro bono commitment which we are making to you. Okay, that's something which we have told you earlier also. Okay, store it in your laptop, email, and drive. Don't just keep it in one place. Make sure that you share it with your spouse, upload it on Google Drive, take a hard copy of it if you want, and make sure that it's there in the family. And if your children are grown up, maybe around, even if they're 12, 13 years and old, I think you should definitely share your family finances with your kids. Where are things and what they are. Okay, because there are chances that, and we have heard even in the COVID times, where husband and wife have lost lives, and the kids have been really have lost both their parents. That's not really a nice situation to be in. Earlier we used to take an example of what if I and my wife are flying in a plane together and the plane crashes. Now we don't even have to take the example of a plane. It's just about a plane or a cry. We just have to talk about the last 3 months, how actually many people have lost lives within family, multiple family members at the same time. So make sure that you're engaging your children at the right time, at the right age. Okay, and review and update in once in a quarter. Okay, once in a quarter is good, but once in a year is a must. Okay, for all of us. So that's the next step. Just to tell you something about QPFP professionals, we are we make this promise to the public. Okay, so QPFP professionals are ones who have completed 100 hours of education program. Okay, before they call themselves as a QPFP, they go through examination of 1,000 questions before they get certified. Okay, with a certain passing mark, which is 60%. That's the examination. All the QPFPs have passed examination, giving their topic tests, their module exams, and their final exam. They have a relevant experience in this field. Okay, experience is important. They also have good, they have the relevant licenses to offer mutual funds, to offer insurances, to do financial plans, to do pension policies and all that stuff. So they have appropriate licenses. They also are on track with the continuous education. It's important to keep ourselves updated as professionals, just like doctors and chartered accountants. We also get on to continuous education with 26 hours of continuous education per year. And last but not the least is we take an ethics declaration. Okay, where this is ethics at art oath taken by all the QPFP professionals, where we say that you can read this, but basically we make a commitment to the public that we will develop expertise, we will be transparent, we'll be holistic, we will be maintaining integrity, we'll be making sure that we have a client first approach, and also provide solutions rather than just products. Okay, that is QPFP. You think you can, how many of us think that we really can trust such a competent and integrity oriented person? Is it fair to trust and work with a QPFP professional who has followed this kind of standards and follows ethics at heart? Okay, does this make sense? Okay, so feel free to reach out to one of QPFP professional and ask for Family FIDOC, and know that they'll not be like after you for sales and stuff like that. This is something which we are doing on a pro bono basis for the entire public and the investors. So with that, friends, I'd like to thank you all for joining in today, and we'll be getting now on to the Q&A. Okay, we'll be now getting on to the Q&A, and wish you we'll have a quick 15-minute Q&A with Amit Trivedi, our speaker, and we'll wind it up in next 15 minutes after the Q&A. So wish you all wishing you a family complete financial well-being on the entire community of qualified personal finance professional and the entire community. Okay, so take the first step right now. Okay, right now I'm telling you, don't delay it, because the next half an hour you'll get on to your lunch. After your lunch, you'll get on to your kids, attending to your kids, to your family and stuff like that. So please call a QPFP professional who has invited you to this session, and ask him for the Excel and PDF template of My Family FIDOC. Okay, so how many of us are going to do it now? Just say on the chat, doing it now. And with that, we'll also go on to the Q&A. Okay, doing it now. And at QPFP, we have another phrase called as Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. Now or never. There's never a good time to do a good thing, and the good time is now. Okay, so let's do it now or never. Abhi nahi to kabhi nahi. Welcome back, Amit Trivedi, for a quick Q&A with our attendees today. Okay, so friends, if you have any questions to Amit Trivedi, or even I can take up, or any of us, please put it on the Q&A, and if you can put it on chat, maybe even other QPFP professionals here can give their views from a professional, but otherwise Amit is there to address the things as much as possible. Okay, so Amit, over to you, sir. So shall I read out the questions, or you would like to take questions?
Whichever way you prefer, Sadiq.
All right, okay, good.
In the meantime, if you can stop sharing the screen, yeah.
This is fine, Amit. Let's
sure. Let's have it. Okay.
Yes. So Rajesh Vemula is asking, is it better to close a home loan or to invest in equity? Which one would you suggest?
It's a tricky one. So a lot of times people say that close the home loan as soon as possible. But consider one thing: whenever you have a loan, there is an interest payment to be made. So there is a cost attached to it. On the other end, your investments. If you keep your money in, let's say, debt related instruments, the chances are that your home loan cost and the earning on your debt portfolio could be very, very similar, even after adjusting for taxes. But on the other hand, if you invest in equity, you are taking a risk of the volatility of equity, and sometimes you have to wait much longer to earn the positive high returns in equity. So that's possible. So you're taking that risk. So consider whether you are comfortable with that risk or not, whether you can afford that risk or not. So that's part one. But the other part which a lot of people ignore in their discussions is, how do you close your home loan? You need to sell off some of your financial investments. And when you sell off financial investments and pay off the home loan, there could be a stress on the liquidity. So consider that angle as well. So it's all about, number one, are you comfortable taking the risk while continuing the home loan? Because your personal balance sheet in that case is leveraged. Or do you want to keep some money in liquidity and continue your home loan? Scenario number two. And scenario number three, by getting rid of home loan, you are increasing your future savings, but are you compromising your current liquidity? Consider these angles and then take a call.
Lovely, Amit, and we have a lot of questions. Maybe we can try and address them as much as possible. Possible. Okay. How much should be the life cover? Is there a better way than 10 into annual income? At QPFP, we teach need-based analysis.
Yeah,
so
I think I won't answer this question straight away, because it's better to go to your QPFP and let the QPFP do assessment of your personal situation and come up with that number. It would be different for different people, and explaining the formula would be difficult in this case.
So friends, know that there's a way of doing insurance need analysis, which is called as need analysis method, which we follow at QPFP. There's a calculator for that. There's a way to calculate, so you can always approach your professional to get that done. Ankur is asking, it will be better if we can insert agent, financial advisor name and contact number in insurance column, as we have taken policies from different companies and obviously different people. Ankur, absolutely yes. Yeah, it's a great idea to put the name of the person from whom you have bought that, so that that person is accountable for that particular policy or investment. Any will writing?
Sadiq, if I were to add to this point of yours, Ankurji, there are a lot of permutations and combinations that can be done. We've tried to keep this entire document as basic as possible, but this is a very valid suggestion. So I think it's worth incorporating.
Yes. Krishna Kumar is asking a very important question. Again, I'll answer this. Amit, you see.
Yeah, of course, please.
Any will writing service provided? Krishna, QPFPs provide, we teach at QPFP will writing, and we also provide a very simple or a very, very simple way of writing a will. Okay, it's a Word document. So every QPFP will have a will writing template. So approach your QPFP and ask for that template, and then ask him how to make sure that you follow the do's and don'ts of writing a will. Okay, and then if you need further help, you can take help of a QPFP or a lawyer. Amit, anything which you want to add, sir, on this?
No, I think that's good enough. A lot of people, okay, yeah, so there's one point. A lot of people think that approaching a lawyer is good enough for will writing, but in my practical experience, I've seen that financial advisors add a lot of value in terms of how the distribution of the assets should take place post the demise of the person. Whereas lawyers are great at drafting the legal language, the financial part can be done very well by a financial advisor.
Sure, sir. Sachin Srivasava is asking, do QPFPs suggest on trading also? I would say no, okay, or rather they should not. QPFPs do give you stock recommendations, but would highly recommend you not to get into day trading and short-term investments. Amit, anything which you want to add, sir?
Yeah, so trading, the word trading itself. So let's say in the stock market parlance, the word trading is used often as an alternative to investing, and both appear to be similar activities. But consider a trader who's a cloth trader or a timber trader or a furniture trader or any such trader. That trader is into a business. So consider stock trading also as a full-time activity. what a QPFP typically does is a QPFP helps people like us who are already engaged in some profession to invest money in order to meet long-term and medium-term and short-term financial goals. And it is for this purpose that the investments are recommended. And to that extent, a QPFP stays away from advising on stock trading.
Is life insurance advisable along with health insurance? Sachin is asking.
Both are important. It's term life insurance takes care of the family's financial requirements in the case of death of an earning member. Health insurance is required for all the members of the family because in case of any eventuality, there are expenses to be incurred. So life insurance takes care of the income which is lost on account of death. But health insurance is a reimbursement of expenses. And to that extent, both have their own purpose and both are must.
Sure. Amit Sura is asking, is it beneficial to build a trust from taxation perspective? Any thoughts on how to think about any?
Yeah, sometimes people do form family trusts for the purpose of tax planning. I'm not an expert on the subject of taxation, so I would not go further on that. However, a major use of or application of trust is when you got minor children that you may want to take care of. The will can be written in a manner that if both the parents die when the children are minor, then how would their financial well-being be taken care of? So trust can be created. Similarly, when there are children with special needs, or when there are other family members with special needs, in that case also trust formation could be really helpful. But more from the needs of certain specific needs of certain families. Taxation, I would request you to talk to a chartered accountant who is an expert on that subject.
Sure, sir. Srinath Vijay is asking, I don't know any QPFP, how to get PDF and Excel, sir. Srinath, definitely you can get it. All you have to do is you have to visit a website, which is a public website, okay? And you can search for professional near your city, okay? Okay, go and search for a professional near your city. Okay, here is this. I'll share with you this link. Let's say you want to approach Ganesh. Okay, you will view his profile and then you will go and contact him and just say that, I've attended this session and can you please provide me the Excel and PDF of this file doc, and they will be sending it to you. Okay, you can ask 2-3 people. I'm sure anyone you ask, they will be sending you. If you want, you can always ask 2-3 people, but this will be going through the QPFP professionals only. Okay, so let me share with you.
Deepan has already shared the link. Sadiq, okay, in the chat, Deepan has already shared the link. Yeah.
All right, cool. So Deepan has shared the link. You can always go to that link. Those of you who do not know any QPFP certificates, please use the directory which we have put in place for the public, and also how to work with this. Our QPFP professional will be written there. So contact and they will be sharing it with you. Okay. So let's take a couple of more questions before we end this. Rajesh Vemula is asking, is it wise to invest in government schemes like SSY or equity MF? Risk-taking ability is medium. So do we want to answer this?
Yeah, so different investments serve different purposes. So Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana has a specific purpose for a girl child. And to that extent, it could be advisable for certain families. But in certain cases, it may not be applicable. So again, it goes back to your specific requirements rather than whether a particular product is good for everybody or not. It's like asking somebody, should I buy a raincoat? So if I'm in Mumbai right now, you need a raincoat if you have to go out. But I'm sitting in Ahmedabad where it is 40 degrees centigrade outside. I mean, I don't need a raincoat. So is a raincoat good or bad? Well, a raincoat is required for somebody in Mumbai right now because it's raining, but somebody in Ahmedabad doesn't need a raincoat right now. So it applies. The same principle applies to various schemes also. Equity mutual funds are good for a large number of people when they want to build wealth, beat inflation, long-term goals, etc., etc. Sukanya Samruddhi would be useful for certain other categories. It always goes to an individual family's requirement. So there is no general answer whether one product is good or bad. Almost all products serve certain purpose, and for that purpose, all the products are good.
A very well way of putting it, Amit. Everything has a purpose. We need to find that and then connect with that. Amrita is asking, is diversified portfolio what should be included? Do we want to take that or?
Yeah. So, when you think of diversification, look at diversification at 4 different levels. Number one, it has to be diversified across companies. Now, whichever instrument that you use, I'll come to that instrument a little later, but across different companies. So that may also include, going back to the previous question, it may also include government scheme and a private sector scheme. So that's number one. Number two, it must be diversified across industries. So don't concentrate within one industry. So if I own this, let's say, deposits across all the banks, am I diversified? No, I still only have exposure to banking sector. The third level diversification is at asset category level, which means there are primarily 4 assets, but we'll restrict to financial assets, which are stocks or equity and bonds or fixed income. So these 2 primary assets. The other 2 assets are real estate and commodities. So you can also diversify in gold. Level 1 companies, level 2 industries, level 3 asset classes, and level 4 across geographies, which means almost all your investments are within India. You may need to, you may need to evaluate should some part of your portfolio be outside of India as well. And there are vehicles available, means available to do that right now. So consider diversification at that level.
Sure, sir. Next, this is an interesting question we can take. When is the right time to buy life insurance for children?
Life insurance, the basic purpose of life insurance policy is income protection for the dependent in case of an earning member's death. If the person is not earning, then ideally life insurance is not required. But then some people do argue that eventually the child is going to earn at some point in time. So why not buy life insurance right now when it is cheap, when the premium is low? Well, that's fine, but some of the insurance companies put certain restriction on how much insurance can be given to a non-earning member. So there could be some such limits. Or on the other hand, how do you even assess the life insurance need for such a case? Okay, so consider life insurance in case of an earning member. And if that's the case, the day the child takes up a job, that's the day you may want to start considering a life insurance policy. But definitely when the person gets married, a son or daughter, that means there is a family. And then there could be a dependent. So don't delay beyond that point.
Sure. So with that, Amit, I think we should end the Q&A.
Sure.
We have run out of time. So friends, do contact the QPFP professional who has invited you for this session, and get this family FIDOC from them, and make sure that you are filling this family FIDOC and take the help of the professional if you need and where you need, and make sure that, and to ensure that you and your family finances, you and your families really feels organized, at peace with your money matters. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed this session. And once again, I'd like to thank all the QPFP professionals who have invited you to this session. You are either a friend or a family or a relative of QPFP professionals. Just call them up and say, if you found this useful today, if you found this to be value adding to your life and to your family's life, just ping them and say thanks for passing on the right message and prompting me to attend this session. Okay. I hope this session was, on the chat, everybody is once again thanking their QPF professional. Can you all just thank your the person who has invited you, and to end this session, we have Raghava thanking Ganesh, Manish Gulati, Jai Purohit, Girish, okay, Ganesh is Margot and Panji is a rock star today. Margot, Panji, and Goa, a lot of people from there. So thank you so much for joining in today, and hope this session was valuable, and wish you and your family a very, very healthy financial life. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Amit sir, once again for joining us today. Hope you
Thank you
equally
so much.
enjoyed the session as much as our audience did.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.